Hello, and welcome to Kuckles Plays. Today, we are doing another visual novel that I conveniently got in the summer sale for like $1. So, It also looked mildly interesting. The art seemed nice. It is called Shan Gui, or Sweet Osmanthus, in English. This visual novel, from what I looked at, is the story of two girls going on some sort of adventure. I think there might be a love thing there. And it's actually a Chinese visual novel, not a Japanese visual novel, I believe. Or it's about... I don't know. I just picked it up, thought I'd read through it, see what it is. And we shall start the game. I often think back to my childhood, especially my family. We were a large family and we enjoyed an idyllic life. Even in the presence of so many extra relatives, it was always a harmonious atmosphere. In those carefree days, I often thought, if only such a life could last forever. We often went on family outings to the mountains. Warm words and laughter always accompanied us on our voyages. I thought, if only this could last forever. At that time, I thought of myself as a very pessimistic child. However, reality later convinced me that I was probably too optimistic. That's nice. It was the end of summer, and a pleasant scent wafted in the breeze. The serenity of the mountains was overpowered by the deafening buzz of cicadas. A truly quiet afternoon never exists. With a sigh, I made my decision. I struggled to my feet so that I could step out of the shade. Oh well. I failed. Holy... She has some boobs. Alright. I was not expecting that. The dew on the grass had begun to vaporize under the hot summer sun. The shade provided by sycamore trees stopped just at the edge of the grass, as if it was too afraid of the heat. I should have brought more water. How many times have I said these words today? It was my hope that through the constant complaining I might find some distraction from this unbearable heat. Unfortunately, it did little more than sour my mood. Oh well. With another sigh, I righted myself and looked around, hoping to find any reason to face the ghastly sunlight. The bag on my back felt like 1,000 pounds. It was crammed with all manner of useless personal effects, not that the bag was particularly light to begin with. The weight on my shoulders became unbearable. The sweat on my back evaporated almost immediately as I removed the bag and put it into my hands. I then became aware of a developing sharp pain on my shoulders. Ultimately, the bag became too heavy to carry, and I tossed it to my feet. I shouldn't have taken so much with me. I shook my head, braced myself, and looked forward. Suddenly, I saw a little store on the edge of the mountain. A Coke would sure be nice. It had been 43 minutes and 4 seconds since I finished all of my water. For such a well-known place, it seemed rather barren. I saw no sign of other visitors. However, respite had finally presented itself. I felt I had been clutching at straws. This store was my last hope. No. A straw is a terrible metaphor. It's too dry. Perhaps seaweed instead. Yeah, seaweed. I laughed at my own unfunny joke. Still, I had to cross the shadeless yard to reach my newfound sanctuary. Better than dying of thirst, I suppose. I made my mind up, then moved out of the shade. 5 minutes later. I regretted this decision. The little store was closed. It was a Wednesday. Even the most popular tourist attractions do not see many crowds during the work week. That's why this store is closed. Empty boxes that once contained soft drinks were strewn about on the floor. With a wry smile, I braced myself, then looked around. There was a small forest behind the store. Through the forest, I could see an ancient-looking cloister sitting upon a hillside. Behind this cloister was a pavilion. The pavilion looked magnificent. Adorning each of the pavilion's four corners were bell-shaped wind chimes that rang out crisply. I thought it might be best to wait there until sunset. I made my way to the pavilion. Why are you out here? The pavilion was much bigger than it had appeared from a distance. The inside was very spacious. It was much cleaner than I expected, too. I attributed this to the lack of tourists. Normally, I'd be a little more picky about where I rest, but at that moment I was far too tired to care. I found a corner and promptly sat down. Wow. I gazed out from the pavilion, and the first time I felt lucky. The late summer sky was translucent blue. The flocks of birds flew over my head, then disappeared into the mountains. Wildflowers colored the paths as butterflies danced among them. As the wind gusted, the forest's canopy quivered like a ribbon. Through the trees I could make out a few old buildings. The chimes rang away, their sound echoed through the mountains. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Earthly aromas emanating from the stream, soil, and rotting leaves, along with the fleeting bits of my own memory, took my mind back to a place I had been long ago. Halcyon days spent with loved ones in the comfort of their warm words. There was a certain sweetness to it all. The air had mixed with something sweet, a sense evocative of the bygone time. It was the returning memory of late summer, sweet and intoxicating and irresistible fragrance. Sweet osmanthus? I wanted to open my eyes. The fragrance beguiled as a pair of soft and delicate hands covering my eyes playing. Whoa, wait, what? The fragrance beguiled as a pair of soft and delicate hands covering my eyes, playing and hiding from me. A feeling as if I were to remove these hands, this sweet fragrance might vanish. I attempted to retain this sense of wonderment despite my growing self-awareness of acting in a very childish manner. Wait, what? You were a fox girl for a second. What the fuck? Are you okay? Is this real? I heard a honey-like voice as a beautifully mild face appeared before me. The smell of sweet osmanthus was heavy in the air. Huh? For a second, I didn't know what to say to this young girl. Are you alright? You look very tired. Yeah, I'm okay. Do you need some water? The young girl began to speak as she took out a purple thermos. I hope you like it. Please enjoy. The girl handed me a cup of tea. I indulged in the sweet and fresh aromas. This is very nice of you, thanks. I took the cup from her. Even though I was nearly dying of thirst, I wished to remain reserved in the presence of this mysterious young girl. The pale green liquid in the cup was invitingly clear. I felt a sudden coolness rush to my face. Apparently, the tea was ice cold. I slowly sipped the tea. It was mellow. A wonderful sensation filled my heart. The aroma of tea and honey paired well with the fragrance of sweet osmanthus. How's my tea? It's sweet. I responded and quickly drank up the tea. This rather ordinary tea has a very good taste, I must say. Ah! The girl smiled upon hearing my praise. Her smile was as impressive as her tea. Thank you very much. I felt a bit strange expressing thanks to a girl who's younger than me. Well, it's my pleasure. Her mannerisms and general demeanor were quite graceful and modest, implying class. She appeared to be about 12 or 13 years old and had a rather tall and slender build. She looked quite elegant and refined. I felt a little embarrassed when looking at her. My name is Hijaya. Hijaya. There we go, whatever. May I know your name, sister? She raised her hand slightly. I'm Shan Gui. I nodded my head. Her name is Hija. I repeated that name in my mind, Hija. Hijaya.
Sis Hui.
Hija called me sis with her sweet voice.
Ah!
Hija seemed quite pleased and laughed. It had been a long time since I was called sis by a younger girl. With these feelings in my mind, I felt a little satisfaction. Thinking of the sweet tea, her sweet smile, and her sweet voice.
Few people come here. It is dangerous. Be careful that you don't die.
How terrible. Thank you anyway. I don't need to go home at sunset now.
Are you lost?
Lost? No. Only the person who has a destination could get lost. I'm just sort of rambling about aimlessly.
Really?
The girl cocked her head and looked at me. She didn't believe my words. Her inquisitive expression made me smile. So cute. Upon seeing my smile, Jaya returned the gesture bashfully. And then I got lost.
Well, there's a little to do since so few people come here.
When I was a child, I often had a picnic with my family. I just wanted to see a familiar place. I rarely told strangers of my personal matters. It felt different with Hija. I'm not very given to say too much about my private business. A change came over Hija's face. Her big eyes narrowed thoughtfully.
So, you haven't found your destination?
Well, I have been here for many years. I have nothing to go on. I haven't been here for many years. Ja nodded and smiled again.
Well then, Sis Hui, if you don't mind, please allow me to lead you there.
Lead me there? Ja had a sparkle in her eyes. I need to find a better way to say her name.
Yeah! The place you're looking for must be filled with your memories. I promise that I'll lead you there. Let's find this place from your memories.
Well, I greatly appreciate the offer, but please forget it. I really have no idea where it is.
Don't worry, leave it to me. I grew up here, so I know all the points of interest.
With that, Hija extended her hands. Are you sure it won't be trouble for you?
No trouble at all. Feel free to ask me any questions about this place.
Then... I took Hija's hand and carefully stood up. Her allure compelled me. Could you please lead the way?
Sure!
Well, this is awfully trusting of a random person we ran into, but whatever. I was lost in the mountains and dying of fatigue. This little girl rescued me. Now she was going to lead me to the way of my destination. Was this a divine reward? I couldn't recall anyone doing some great favor for... I don't recall doing anyone some great favor recently, but cared little. We embarked upon our trek. The girl skipped and twirled about, agile and graceful as a creature of the forest. Sometimes she would turn back to make sure I was still following her, spoke briefly, and then continued moving forward.
So, sis, are you a university student?
Yeah, I'm a freshman. Jaya turned back and began walking backwards.
That sounds really nice. I don't think university is a place I'll be able to go. Is the university interesting?
Well, we're free to take part in many activities. There's a lot less homework. Yeah. Sometimes we do have class. Ja gave a feeble shrug. She didn't seem to catch my words. University is quite different from high school. You get to choose your courses. With some clever planning, there can be a lot of leisure time.
Yeah, I get it.
Ja nodded her head. She seemed to understand this time. What about you? Are you on summer vacation? Though I wasn't completely sure, Ja appeared to be wearing a school uniform.
Yeah, I did have some classes today, but I skipped them.
You skipped them? I've never tried that.
Well, actually, attendance is like completely optional. My scores are not bad, so today I decided to take a break.
That sounds great. I'd want to study at your school.
Yeah, it's a very nice school, right?
Jaya spoke as she turned around and stepped forward. I recalled that she mentioned living here. The Purple Mountain is not far from downtown. It's a wealthy area in the city. I'm concerned about clicking this. Alright, so my concern was founded. Clicking the blue link took me out of the game, closed my recording, and opened a Wikipedia page. So we won't be doing that anymore. She said that the choice of attending school depended entirely on herself. I wondered if perhaps she was simply from a wealthy family. Pondering this, I glanced at her again. A purple dress clung tightly to her porcelain skin. She wore her hair tied back with an orange hair lace, a feature that embodied her childlike innocence.
Yeah? What's up?
I felt a little bit shy when making eye contact with her. Well, nothing. I was just thinking about how far we need to go.
We're almost there. At the other end of the path is the place that you mentioned, with statues all around.
Really? How far is it?
Just through the woods.
I began to feel excited. Soon I could relive happy memories of lost childhood days. There were less trees. The dirt road was gradually being replaced with flagstones, and I quickened my pace. I knew I must soldier on despite my weariness. The promise of reliving grand memories lay ahead. There was a spectacular path lined with statues and trees. Ancient mystical beasts guarded the grave of a king, and also my dusty memory. Here. I could hardly contain my excitement. The sense of joy filled my heart. Everything was as I remembered: the path, the statue which my dad put me onto, and the historical marker which my mother read to me. As I walked along the path, I extended my hand to touch every statue, as if to tell them that I had returned. I'm back now. Finally, these words came out.
Welcome back!
The girl answered in place of the statues. She put her hands behind her back and leaned forward, smiling proudly. She held the poise of a puppy waiting to receive a treat. Thank you. Thank you for taking me here. I reached out my hand and stroked Hija's head. I do not make it a habit of touching strange girls' heads, honestly. But I couldn't help myself. She was so cute.
Ah!
I'm sorry. You don't like it.
Well...
She nodded with her little head and came closer. She likes this? This place has changed a lot over the years. You just said that it hadn't changed, and it's exactly as you remember. Whatever. I did not remember this place being so clean. The statues were not surrounded by fences. The path was not so tidy. What's most important in my memory is that should be golden. Perhaps What was important in my memory is that here should be golden. Perhaps it was autumn at the time. It was so carefully tended. It was so carefully tended.
Yes, after all, this is a World Cultural Heritage Site.
World Cultural Heritage?
This is the path to the Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum and the sacred way of the Hongwu Emperor's grave.
Oh. I knew nothing about this, although I am a native.
From the entrance, I could see the lion, seal, camel, elephant, quillion, and the horse statues.
What is the zoo?
It's a creature with a single horn.
Wow, our little Jaya is so erudite. Is so erudite.
Yeah, well, is normal to me. Like a brother, really, with glasses and long hair.
Wait, what?
Yeah, nothing, forget it, I'm not a fox girl. In short, it's now a world-famous attraction, cool, right?
The girl spoke with pride, like someone introducing guests to their home for the first time. I wanted to make fun of her. The world-famous attraction. With a single person here? Without a single person here? Blah, blah, blah.
Well, because it's a very hot day today. I mean, jeez.
Hija could not find a better answer. She got a little nervous. There's no tourists, no open shops. I almost died of thirst.
Well, that's because, a baby was just born in Aunt Wang's family. She went back to...
It was funny to see her so unnerved. So, we have the entire place to ourselves today.
Yeah.
She seemed to be satisfied with this. Why can't I say that properly? Jai's eyes sparkled with excitement.
Great, this'll be very interesting.
You're interesting. After saying this, I again stroked her head.
Yeah.
She enjoys this. The Emperor's tomb, which has sat here quietly for hundreds of years, served as the backdrop to this lovely scene. I felt fortunate to have made this trip.
Here you are.
How very nice of you. Receiving the popsicle, I felt a little embarrassed.
It doesn't matter. I can buy one and get one for free.
Jai then took a bite of the popsicle she held in her hand, just like a kitten. Buy one, get one free?
Ah, it's a special offer just for me.
I looked at the price list. The popsicle cost nearly double than the usual price tag of such an item. After visiting the path with the statues, Jaya felt thirsty and wanted to lead me to a very special shop. As a result, we sat on the roadside next to an old broken trolley enjoying popsicles. The so-called special shop, this place really I feel like I fucked up. As a result, we sat on the roadside next to an old broken trolley enjoying popsicles. So-called special shop. Is this place really a World Heritage Site? The popsicle tastes good, although I haven't seen this brand for years. Is this brand so old that it's a part of this heritage? But Jaya seems unfazed by my comment and continued happily sucking her popsicle beside me. I almost made that really wrong. Well, the way you eat. Looking at her, I couldn't stop laughing.
Ah, sis, don't you know?
She seemed very surprised. The popsicle was still in her mouth.
This popsicle will taste much sweeter if you suck it hard.
It's making the jokes for me, people. She seemed to be quite serious and awaited my approval. Suck hard?
Yeah!
She again demonstrated her skill. How fascinating she is. Let me... I tried to imitate her. It was indeed sweeter, just as she had said. Ah, it tastes great.
Fantastic, right?
She seemed very proud and resumed licking her popsicle. Again, she looked like a kitten. It might not taste so great later. I pointed at the top of her popsicle, which had already faded. It was pure ice now.
It doesn't matter, I'll just eat it up.
She took a bite out of the top. She immediately blew out her cheeks and stomped her feet because of the overwhelming coldness. Are you okay?
It's so cold!
Well, you should be more careful.
Where are you going this afternoon, sis?
That doesn't matter.
Of course! I said I'd guide you the whole day.
Well, then, thank you. I thought for a while and agreed. I remember... fucking up her voice twice in a row. I remember that this place with water in the woods. However, I'm not sure whether it's a stream or a lake.
Okay.
But the expression on little Jaya showed visible frustration. My description was quite vague. Is this too little information? After all, this kind of scene is quite common here.
Not at all. I've got an idea about where it might be. An idea.
I don't think you know where we're going. She hesitated.
No, I really know the place.
Well, shall we then?
Come on, this way.
Okay.
No, that way.
Huh? That way?
Well, it should be this way.
Which way? We're walking and talking in circles.
I got that. This way. Let's move.
Hey, wait.
La 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 la.
Humming a merry tune, we continued on our journey.
This is the best way to hike this mountain in the summertime.
I agreed. We made our way along the path in the woods. The path was actually quite a small trestled bridge made of wood. Perhaps its purpose was to protect the plants from the tourists. Walking along the bridge in the woods was almost romantic.
Ha!
Jaya jumped onto the railing suddenly and going to fall. She could maintain her balance when walking on the railing. Look out, that's too dangerous.
Don't worry, I'm a pro.
She then twirled around.
See? I said it's alright.
You go this way every day?
Yeah, I usually go to Grandpa Zui's house for lunch, which this way's the shortcut.
Grandpa Zhui? Perhaps he was one of the staff here. After the shop, there is a restaurant? It must be difficult to work in such a desolate place.
Yeah!
What's up?
I forgot. Grandpa Zhui is not open either. Where should I go now? I plan to go there for lunch.
So it is a restaurant?
I'm afraid we have nothing for lunch.
Saying that, Hija began to falter.
Ah!
Look out! She fell before I could get the words out. Hey, watch out! I took Hija by the hand and helped her to safety. She seemed dazed. Hey, how do you feel? Are you okay?
Ah,
What?
my cold noodles.
Cold noodles?
Grandpa Zhui's cold noodles. I'm powerless.
Hija fell to the ground again. Didn't you eat lunch today?
Nah, I had gone out for lunch when we met. I had simply forgotten my original purpose.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm just so hungry I could eat 5 rabbits.
That's terrible. You're not a fox. Fucking yes she is. Suddenly, I remembered that I had brought some food for the trip. It was in my bag.
Ah, bunny ears.
The hunger seemed to be making Hija crazy. I have something to eat here. Do you want it?
Really?
Jaya seemed excited when hearing about this. Her glassy eyes became bright again. Well, it's not anything to get too excited about. Have a bite.
Is it a rabbit?
Of course not. There's a really nice meal in my box. It was bread, sliced ham, fried eggs, and some lettuce. My handmade sandwiches.
Oh, they look really nice.
Even though the sandwiches had been in my bag for several hours, they were all still in one piece. Burp. Well then, here you are. I selected a better looking sandwich for Jaya. This seemed to make her feel a bit embarrassed. I made them myself. Would you like to try it?
Really? Could I?
Sure, it's too much for me to eat.
Thank you.
Jaya took the sandwich and leaned against the railing. After carefully inspecting the food in her hand, she seemed to be pleased with it. The small sandwich looked quite large compared to her slight hands.
Uh-oh!
She took a bite of the sandwich. Following that, she beamed her approval. Her feet repeatedly flapped against the railing like a little doggy waggling its tail. How is it?
Delicious!
Her smile was evocative of the falling cherry blossom petals.
I know you have something to eat, sis. I can smell it. Is it...
Wait, yeah. Is it delicious? I looked at Hija and then I took a bite from my sandwich as well. It was the finest I could have done, but it would have been a stretch to call the sandwich good. The sandwiches had been roasting in my box for hours. The bread became a little soft. However, Jaya's smile could make any food taste delicious.
Is there any more?
You finished it? So fast, I took out another one and gave it to her. Well, this one is a pork floss sandwich. Again, she displayed this puppy-like exuberance of banging her feet against the railing. How is it?
As good as Grandpa Jui's cold noodles!
You should swallow it first.
Hija
nodded and kept chewing. How could she eat so fast? I couldn't help watching her as I continued to enjoy my own sandwich. After several minutes, Hija had finished it. She licked her fingers with great satisfaction. Mind your manners.
It's so tasty!
I felt rather glad to be appreciated. Come on. I took out a piece of tissue to clean her mouth and fingers. Her fingers were slender and white, so delicate it seemed that any increase in force would surely break them. She seemed to be in a trance-like state, lost in a world of food.
So much better now. I feel as fresh as a daisy.
Because of the sandwiches or the tissues? I don't know. After we had packed up all of the garbage and took a short break, we resumed our trip. With Hija acting as my guide, I walked along the wooden walkway. An ancient wall appeared before our eyes. Is this the right direction?
Trust me, this is a shortcut.
We walked along the wall for several minutes. Suddenly, we were led into an open space.
How is it?
I don't know what to say. It's so...
So what?
So amazing. The ancient wall was cast a striking reflection on the water. A small boardwalk snaked over the lake in front of this wall. Where am I?
This is Front Lake. I prefer to call it Shan Gui Lake.
Bird Lake? A good name. Is there a story about it?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the 4 symbols.
4 symbols?
Yeah, you know, the Black Tortoise Lake is located on the west of the mountain.
Yeah, I used to play there when I was a child.
The former name for Black Tortoise Lake was Black Lake, so here it's called Front Lake, I guess. Back Lake.
You mean the vermilion bird is the front, while the black tortoise is located in the back? You're so smart, Shia.
Yeah!
She seemed to be grateful of my compliment. Such a nice breeze.
I know, right? The pavilion is where the best place for a nap. Blech. I know, right? The pavilion there is the best place for a nap, especially when it's so hot.
There was a pavilion under the tree. It looked newly made, but lacked a good view of the lake. Hey, wait for me. While I had stood around taking in the scenery, Hija had already beaten me to the pavilion. She was already perched atop the bench, waving to me.
This is a very good place!
Yeah, really beautiful. Cool breezes from the lake caused the grim specter of heat to finally dissipate.
Is this the place where you were looking for?
Honestly, it's not. Jaya was understandably disappointed and struggled to hold back tears. Thank you for leading me here anyway. It's a nice place here, really. I tried to comfort her. My statement was sincere. I wonder what this place will look like in autumn.
Very colorful.
Is that not a slight exaggeration?
Not at all. 2 months from now, when the temperatures get lower and it rains, the mountain will be mottled by all sorts of different colors. The maples, ginkgos, and camellias over there will change their colors like magic. The azure sky casts a reflection onto the water, while the golden leaves lay about the shore. It looks like a painting.
She said this with great enthusiasm. It almost made me feel as if I were there.
I strongly recommend the grassy area on the other side of this lake. It's as soft as velvet when it's covered by the fallen leaves. It's a perfect place to stay.
Is it really soft?
Once you lay down, all of your troubles will melt away.
Hija's words gave me high expectations. Okay, we must return in autumn. That sounds very beautiful.
Of course!
Jaya nodded excitedly as if this place was a part of her backyard. I remember, the time that I was here was also autumn. We passed the entire hill covered with maples.
A hill covered with maples? Ah, I know it!
Jaya suddenly jumped up and took my hand.
I know!
No, what?
The place you're looking for, now I know where it is!
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure this time, this way!
We began to run. The coolness vanished as if it were phantasmal. I feel like I've been here before. A dim recollection appeared in my mind. Perhaps the old gate had jarred a memory loose. How much was this ticket?
Come with me!
Wait, I need to buy tickets.
Nah, no need to do that.
Huh? So, we're in? The doorman didn't even ask us for tickets. Actually, there was no doorman at all. That's the first time I've avoided paying an entrance fee in my whole life.
Don't worry about it, it's my home, and you, sis, are my guest.
I was totally confused. Did her family own this place?
This way!
The path was winding and you could always hear the sound of the stream. It's so quiet here.
Yeah, there's very few people.
It was true, Hija was the only person I had seen all day. As we walked, the sky began to get darker and cloudy. The weather report said there will be a thunder shower this afternoon. Is it far from here?
We're almost there.
So, is there a bridge around the corner?
Yeah!
After we passed the top of the hill, a familiar scent returned. There should be a maple forest, right?
Yes, but it's not the right time. These trees haven't turned red.
I picked up my pace. I felt that something good was waiting for me. Ah, right, here's the bridge. There was an old, small cement bridge with iron railings. The stream below was deep and reflected the sky and surrounding trees. A faint earthly scent came from the soil and grass. When I was a child, I used to walk here with my family. It was late autumn and the maples were all red like fire. Mom was very young at the time. I remember how she took my hand as we walked along the bridge. I picked up a maple leaf. Is there a big pool with lotuses ahead?
Yeah, just up ahead, but please wait, sister.
I rushed forward and didn't hear the rest of her words. Finally, I'm here. Though it was summer, the small pond looked lifeless. It had dried up significant that the large stones on the bottom had been exposed. The railing on the stone bridge had been destroyed and the danger notice stood nearby. Plants near the pond had shriveled and died. One of them seemed to have even burned. How could this be?
This pond started to dry up a long time ago. Since so few people come here, there was no need to maintain it. I was going to tell you, but...
All of my effort. The sky seemed to get even darker and gloomier for me. I stood blankly in a state of bewilderment. I could not see, nor could I hear. I had no idea what to do next. My parents always took me here when I was a child. I could still remember the blue sky, the green grass, and the pond. My entire family sat on the lawn in the sunshine. My mother had prepared for us a picnic to enjoy. I believed this happiness would last forever. In what felt like a blink of an eye, I had finished elementary school, middle school, and had prepared for my university entrance exams. Everything became strange. Became conflict and tension spread throughout my household. Even now, I'm still unsure of what happened to my family. The transition into university life was not easy for me at first. However, the added distance between me and my family allowed most of those dark memories to become sealed away. My parents finally began to appreciate my effort. We all thought the worst days had passed. The fragility of life, however, made me as dark as ever. This place... Where should I go now?
Sister?
My eyes were filled with tears. I tried to cover, but it was too late.
What's wrong, sis?
Nothing. Just some sand in my eyes. But I could hear the quiver in my own voice. My heart was broken. Things I should have forgotten or simply did not wish to remember replayed in my mind like a black and white film.
Sis,
Nah.
Sis, Sis, I have to use the bathroom!
Jaya's unexpected words jolted me back into reality. Wait, what? Is it an emergency?
Yeah!
Right here? Maybe that's not a good idea.
This way, come with me!
Jaya took my hand before I could reply, and we ran in a hurry. Well, had it not been for Jaya, I would have held on for a second. I sat in the tea house, purple pavilion, and waited for Jaya. Despite the modern construction, it was a traditional tea house. It did not look out of place in this park. Wasn't she? Maybe she's not. Did she take me away from that sad place on purpose? Perhaps I was thinking too hard. I rubbed my eyes and attempted to focus on the coffee in front of me. Jaya recommended this one. I still do not understand why the tea house is called Purple Pavilion. I was thinking about something unimportant when I looked out the window. The clouds had gathered in the sky.
I'm back!
Jaya was back, her face now pinkened by a light flush. Welcome back.
Yeah.
She smiled and straightened her skirt. She sat on the opposite of me like an old friend. The waiter brought Jaya a cup of sweet osmanthus tea without so much as a word exchanged between the two of them. The aroma of sweet osmanthus filled the air. It was the first time I had seen another person all day.
Yeah, this is the original flavor.
I remembered that the tea she gave me was also had sweet osmanthus. Did she learn how to make it from this place? It smells wonderful.
Of course it does. It's made by the manager.
The waiter beside us smiled. Jaya must be a regular in this tea house.
Do you want to try some?
Okay. I turned the cup and pushed it to her. She reciprocated. I picked up the cup and took a sip. It was weaker than what Jaya had given me earlier, but more refreshing. Jaya also picked up my cup and took a sip.
It's so bitter.
What? The coffee tastes bitter? It was an iced latte. Have you ever tried coffee before? Of course, coffee didn't fit her age.
No, I've never had it. It tastes strange.
Then why did you recommend it to me? Sometimes a tea tastes more better than coffee, right? Yeah. Give me a sec.
Yes, but that doesn't bother me if the tea also comes with sweet osmanthus and lots of sugar.
No wonder her tea was so sweet.
If we add those things to the coffee, will it make it taste better and not like crap?
It will have a different taste, that's for sure.
Yeah, trade me back. I prefer my sweet tea.
I smiled and we exchanged our cups. Jaya took a gulp of her tea.
Tea is so much better for me.
I asked for a refill on my coffee and Jai asked for more sugar. We shared no words for a little while. We just sipped our drinks silently. Then came the sound of rain. I looked out the window as the raindrops pelted the glass. Then there was a crack of thunder.
Yeah!
Are you scared?
Yeah.
The thunder continued as the rain increased its intensity.
It's
raining buckets.
Yes, but it won't last long.
That's the rain of summer. It comes and goes very quickly. The clouds had now hidden the sun, and the treehouse had become darker. My sour mood returned.
Come with me, sis.
What? Where are we going?
A wonderful place.
It's raining so heavily.
I know, but this is a wonderful place because of the rain.
Okay, but wait a second. I need to finish my coffee.
Let's go. It's in the treehouse. Just come with me.
We passed through the hallway. I saw a glass door with light coming through it. Was that the way to the outside?
It's here.
There's always surprises with you. 4 high walls had turned the yard into an isolated world. It was not very large, but well arranged. The rain was coming down in sheets. The flowers looked crisp and beautiful, having been cleansed by the rain. Behind the walls stood the mountains shrouded in a mist, as if the scene was from a fairy tale. Rainwater rushed along through a small trough alongside the wall. It looked like a stream in the mountains. Surely such a beautiful scene could only be observed when it rained. Like a fairy tale.
Right? Come on, sit here.
There was a bench near the entrance. It seemed as if it was specifically placed for people to enjoy such a wonderful spectacle. The bench was very clean. Maybe it was under the personal care of the manager.
Oh, Hija, you're here.
Yeah, we're watching the rain.
A new face.
Yeah, I brought her here.
Am I anything worth showing off? I pondered this while still looking at the man. He was in casual dress and held a magazine in his hand. Was he also a customer? He's familiar with Jaya. Perhaps he works here.
What do you think about this little world?
The man spoke before I could answer. It's so beautiful that I lack the words to accurately describe it.
The man would be pleased to hear your words.
Who?
The architect who designed this tea house.
He must be a great designer, right? The man smiled intently.
Well, what should I say? Some people devote their entire lives to finishing just 1 or 2 of their masterworks.
What do you mean?
The architect spent most of his time designing buildings for other people. He loved his work. He was so serious and diligent. However, most of these constructions differed greatly from his expectations, far from his idea of perfect.
Why?
A perfect design requires greater time investment. People in this country care more about efficiency than perfection.
That's just the way things are.
So, the architect's life was filled with regret. He could never truly complete his work. The resulting emotional and physical stress took its toll.
Well, is this tea house his perfect design? The man shook his head.
Nah, not really. Perfect things do not exist in our world. However, this is a work that had consumed all of his best effort. There's something special here which cannot be seen in other works.
What is that? The man grinned.
It's love.
Love? I couldn't understand his words.
I don't understand.
Well, it's true. Anyway, please enjoy yourselves while you're here. I'm at your service if you need a refill.
The man nodded and nodded his head.
There's a message from the architect on that plaque. Take a look if you wish. It's pretty interesting.
With a second nod, he entered the tea house. I can't believe he is the manager. This place is full of surprises.
That's the one reason why I like it, especially on a rainy day.
Like the warm embrace of a loved one, it gives me reassurance.
Sis, I have to ask you, are you having troubles?
Jaya found me out, so there was no longer a need to hide the secret. Troubles? Nothing too far out of the ordinary, but still very difficult for me. My father passed away recently.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Jaya clutched my hands with no words. From the start of his illness until after he passed on, I didn't even cry once. I don't know why. My relatives said I demonstrated maturity by maintaining my composure, but I knew that was wrong. I knew I was very sad about the whole thing, but I just didn't know how to say. The relationship between my father and I was always very strained. He was always unsatisfied with my performance. After a decade-long Cold War, our relationship finally began to improve. Then he got sick.
You don't like your father, sis?
I don't know. Some members of my extended family were very broken up over his death. They tried to console me at his funeral. However, he was practically a stranger to me. I never knew him in that way. His work, relationships, even his personality were entirely unfamiliar to me. My family discussed my late father over dinner. He was very serious about his work. He was very considerate about his family. A good friend, a good brother. He believed in justice. It was only then that I learned what kind of person my father was. It was all very removed from the conscientious, overly critical individual I fought with daily. What was wrong, or who was wrong, still bothers me.
Is that why you came here?
Yeah, I thought it might grant me some clarity. Perhaps I just need a hug. Hug. What?
I wish I knew how to comfort you, sister. Do you love your father?
I don't know the answer to that question either. Perhaps I have no answer.
No.
She shook her head.
There's always an answer. Perhaps now is not the right time. So just wait one more minute, okay?
Okay. The smell of sweet osmanthus effused from Jaya's slight frame. It was pleasing. I began to relax. Well...
Yeah.
Thank you for your comfort, Jaya. I was a little embarrassed about being comforted by a younger girl. Anyway, thank you very much. The words held in my mind finally came out. I felt better now.
You're welcome.
The rain out began to subside. I stood up with the intention of leaving. The plaque mentioned by the manager suddenly sprang into mind. I went to the flagstone in the corner. It's Flowing Time. Designer Han Yuan. I was shocked. Then I rushed into the tea house.
Welcome back. How was everything?
Good. I had a very pleasant time. Sir, could you tell me, who was the designer of this tea house?
Ah, my old friend, co-worker, and your father, right?
You knew me already?
Yeah, we met several times when you were small, but you were probably too young to remember. I recognized you at first sight.
So, that's it.
I'm greatly sorry for my absence at his funeral. However, I feel a bit better having seen you today.
Please don't feel bad. My father would not want his death to upset others.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
May I ask, another question. What kind of person did you think my father was like? The man was taken aback by my question. He stood quietly for a moment to contemplate his answer.
Well, what should I say? He was stubborn and inflexible, downright boorish at times. He was not particularly good at conversation, or even getting along with others.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Well, it did require some added skill to talk with him, It's quite amazing I got along with him so well.
Yes.
However, he was always there when I needed him. With him, you could discuss your shortcomings. He would always do what he could to help.
I got it.
Of course, the most important thing is something we all knew. He loved you more than anyone else. Is this not the same image in your mind?
Yeah, it's the same. After the long rain showers passed, the air had become crisp and fresh. The manager led us to the gate of the tea house.
Come back anytime. This tea house was designed with you in mind, anyway. He had hoped to come here with you when you grew up. Your family had many picnics here when you were a child, correct?
Yeah, it would be nice to talk to my father again.
He would be pleased to hear that. Jaya, please see her off.
Okay, let's go, sis. It's getting late.
Yeah. I gazed at the tea house one final time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. You're always welcome here.
The trees in the forest were still dripping wet. Everything had a glistening sheen. The path had become muddy and was now quite difficult to walk upon. However, this situation provided its own strange sort of enjoyment. It was time to go home. Even though we had spent less than a single day together, I did not want to say goodbye to Jaya. Hija held her skirt as she skipped along, leading the way. Occasionally, she would turn back and wave to me. I followed behind her slowly.
It's a little late.
I know. But I didn't move any faster. Just as we were passing the way to the dried-up pond, I really didn't want to leave.
Sister?
Jaya appeared to have something to say.
Maybe this is a strange request, but can we go back to the pond?
Why? Nothing is there.
It's difficult to say, but, hey!
What's up? Jaya suddenly took my hand and dragged me forward.
Come with me! How beautiful!
After making our way through the woods, we suddenly came upon an autumnal lotus pond. It was previously lifeless, but hours later it had become the beautiful scene from my memory. Am I dreaming? The clear water, lotus blossom, camellias, and stone bridge leading over the pond, it was all very overwhelming. Unbelievable, it's just...
Perhaps it's a gift from the mountain god.
A gift?
Yeah.
Really, after hearing your words, I almost believe you.
Come on, sister.
What? Wait. Jaya ran to the shore and poked a few fingers into the water.
It's so clear.
Jaya then took off her shoes and jumped into the water. A tremendous splash followed. Well, wait.
Don't worry, it's not that very deep, and the temperature is so comfortable.
The water was knee-deep. Jaya held her skirt and twirled about.
Ah!
What's up? Jaya slipped and fell. She was now sitting in the water.
Ah, epic fail.
Look, your skirt is all wet.
Yeah, I'll get a scolding when I return home. Whatever.
Whatever. Jaya began to disrobe. After a minute or two, she was standing in the pond wearing only her underwear. But what if someone comes?
Don't worry, no one will come here. This place only belongs to you and me today.
But...
Come on!
Jaya began splashing in the water on me. Hey, stop. Are you 5 years old?
Yeah, I am.
Inspired by Jaya's boldness, I took off my shoes and walked toward the pond. The pond wasn't that deep. The bottom was covered with lots of colorful stones, which looked positively radiant, glinting in the sunlight.
Hey!
Huh? Jaya splashed me.
Yeah, are you in some kind of trance? Take
this. Payback. Jaya ducked under the water.
You missed!
Wait. I hadn't played like this for such a long time. After, we laid on a stone and looked up at the sky. Jaya struck the water with her feet, creating a clear splashing sound.
La 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 la.
What a beautiful song. What a beautiful song that wasn't.
I'm a bit shy. This is the first time I've sung in front of others.
It's easy to find beauty together with you. The sunset highlighted the red in Jaya's blushing face. As I looked upon Jaya in the light of the sunset, I knew I wanted this moment to last forever.
It's about time, though I still wish I could sing for you.
Time?
Yeah, it's time for me to go, and you too.
Could you stay for a little longer? Jaya shook her head.
As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end.
Yes, even at the best of times will come to an end.
Don't worry.
Jaya?
Whatever happens to you, wherever you go, whatever you do, if you feel sad or hurt, please come here. This mountain and I will be here for you.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Shall we meet again?
Of course.
Will you guide me?
Yeah?
How about the tickets?
Leave it to me.
Will you sing for me again?
Well, maybe if you bring some more sandwiches.
Next time you should put less sugar in your sweet osmanthus tea.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, but I'll consider it.
As twilight approached, a golden radiance reflected in the water. I felt a sense of inner peace as the sun's now dimming rays warmed my heart. Jaya lowered her head and kissed me on the cheek. An intoxicating feeling of serenity emanated throughout my body. The world, too, began to melt. Jaya's figure slowly faded away in the golden light. I could barely hear her words.
Farewell! We shall meet again, sister.
Yes. I opened my eyes to find myself laying in the pavilion on the mountaintop. It was dusk. I rubbed my eyes and stood up. The air was much cooler, the ground was all wet. It had just rained. A gentle breeze brushed past my face. Sweet osmanthus. I looked out over the mountain and stroked my hair, which had become mussed with the wind. Why every single time I start reading, my nose is like, yeah, be annoying. It was a dream. Despite this, I felt I had gained a great deal of spiritual wisdom. I should go. I took my bag and made my way home. I was at ease. Hello? Who's there?
It's me.
Little Chang?
Just Chang. I've told you so many times don't call me that.
Okay, next time I won't.
No, you.
Well, what's the matter, little Chang?
Now you're just doing it on purpose.
You are correct.
I've got some great news for you, and this is how you treat me.
I'm sorry. What's the good news?
Well, I got the information you asked for.
Really?
Of course. Who do you think I am?
Little Chang.
For the last time, if you call me Little Chang again, I will so hang up.
Okay.
Let's begin. The initial description you gave me, short black hair worn in a single braid and long dress, was completely useless. And the story about living in the mountains and a great love for sweet osmanthus tea or whatever, that's positively unbelievable.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is all you could give me. Useless.
Well, you're a clever boy. I'm sure you could figure something out.
Fine. The information was not totally useless. I remembered I knew someone.
Who did you know? An old friend?
That's not what I meant exactly.
What do you mean?
The girl you met is the mountain god's third daughter. Her name is Hija.
The god of that mountain?
Correct. Oh, and actually she is a purple fox.
A purple fox?
And she is immortal. Do you understand?
Are you serious?
Maybe. Who cares? Hey! It was just a joke. You should know me better by now.
Yeah, okay. If that's what little Chang says. She's the third daughter. Did you mention that she had sisters? Didn't you mention that she had sisters?
Yes, she has two elder sisters and a younger one.
Incredible.
You don't really need to worry about it. These immortals aren't very different from us. They must also eat and sleep. Their feelings are quite the same as ours, and siblings often quarrel.
That takes a load off my mind.
Then what do you think about her?
Jaya?
Yeah.
A new sister. I feel a great peace when I am with her.
That's good. I'm sure she feels the same. You are fated to see each other again. If you want to see her, just go back to the mountain.
Really?
Yeah, but in order to meet a god, you must bring some sort of offering or tribute.
What kind of tribute?
You shouldn't ask me. Didn't you make the promise to meet again with her?
Haha, I got it. I know what to do. Thank you, Chang.
Say hello to her for me.
So he's just going along with, she gave this story of, I met this crazy person in the woods. He's like, yeah, that's the god of the mountain. And he's completely okay with like, yeah, she's totally real. And not calling me insane. Okay, I will. After hanging up the phone, I could feel the anticipation swell within my heart. Okay. It was not an illusion, nor was it some strange summer night's dream. I should be well prepared. Bread, ham, and what else? I want to bring Jaya my handmade sandwiches and share what good feelings with her again. It's autumn. I think the sweet osmanthus will smell particularly sweet this year. And I guess that's the end. Okay. That was surprisingly shorter than I expected. The story was decent, although kind of lost a little bit when most of it seemed like it was basically a dream. It also strikingly similar parallels to Voices from the Sea, with X person having issues meets phantasmagorical other person who helps them on a journey and helps them get over whatever they're feeling, kind of thing. Overall, the story was kind of I don't know. I liked Voices from the Sea more because it spent more time dealing with what the character is actually going for. Like, you only kind of found out about this character's father issues, like, in the scene where they resolve the father issues. Though, I guess, kind of from the start, you're like, why is she out here in the first place? And even then, that doesn't really get answered very much. I don't know how I'd rate this one because, well, I didn't particularly like it more than Voices from the Sea, and Voices from the Sea was free, and even though I got this, like, for $1 or something, I don't know. It also felt a lot shorter than Voices from the Sea, but I'll have to check my recording to really see how short it was. It felt really short, at least. The art's very nice, though. I like the art. Where is all this art coming from? Like, all that, like, both of these are new things that didn't show up in the rest of the game. Oh, well. So that was Sweet Osmanthus, or Shan Gui, or whatever. I'm not sure if I can recommend it, but if you liked it, you can pick it up off of the Steam store for, I think now it went back to its normal price of like $5. If you can pick it up on sale for super cheap because you want to play through it, sure. I believe that the music DLC for this game is free if you enjoyed the music, which I hope I didn't turn down too terribly much. So, yeah, that was Sweet Osmanthus. Overall, I did like it. I just, on the ranking of stuff I've played before, it's not any better than certain other things. Anyway, that's been me, and we'll see you next time on Kuckles Plays.